Welcome back to Campfire Tales, where the fire glows dim and the night spins stories that cling to your soul like frost. I'm your host, pulling you close to the campfire to unravel tales that make every wish a shadow of dread. Tonight, we grasp the dreadful tale of the monkey's paw, a cursed legend that's haunted campfires and parlors for over a century. You might have heard it whispered at sleepovers, a warning against tempting fate with greedy desires. Where did this tale come from? And why does it still make us fear our own wishes? Let's unravel the terror. Settle in and let the flames guard your hopes. In a fog-choked Yorkshire village where rain lashed a crumbling English cottage, the White family, John, Mary, and their son Herbert, huddled by a flickering hearth. The storm howled, rattling window panes like restless spirits clawing to enter. Sergeant Morris, a gaunt friend from colonial campaigns, arrived, his eyes hollow, hands trembling as he drew a shriveled monkey's paw from his coat. Its gnarled fingers, etched with rune-like scars, pulsed faintly under the firelight. "It grants 3 wishes," he rasped, voice cracking, "but each destroys you." Over tea, Morris confessed his own ruin. His first wish for glory brought him wealth, but cost his comrades lives in a jungle ambush, their screams haunting his dreams. His second, for his wife's health, revived her, only for her to die in a horrific accident. Her spirit's angry, glowing red eyes, screaming his name nightly. "I can't use the last," he begged John, pressing the paw into his hands. "Burn it, or it'll bind me forever." John promised to destroy it, but his eyes lingered on the paw's warmth, ignoring Mary's shiver as the air soured with decay. Morris fled, warning, "Don't wish, or you're cursed like me." John promised to destroy it, but his eyes lingered on the paw's warmth, ignoring Mary's shiver as the air soured with decay. Morris fled, warning, "Don't wish, or you're cursed like me." Before heading to bed, Mary and Herbert pleaded with John to burn the paw, its shadow writhing on the wall like a clawing beast, but he tucked it away, unconvinced. Alone, John opened a forgotten letter, a debt collector's demand for payment, threatening to seize their home. The paw's warmth pulsed in his hand. "Just a test," he muttered, wishing for a cask of his favorite blackberry brandy to ease his nerves. The paw twitched, a low snarl echoing, and a cask appeared in the corner of the room, its scent rich but tinged with rot. John laughed, sipping the brandy, believing Morris's ruin was mere bad luck. By dawn, Mary and Herbert woke to horrors John didn't see. Mary's mirror fogged, reflecting an eyeless face with rune-like scars, whispering her name. Herbert heard footsteps pacing the attic, claw-like gouges appearing on his door. The air reeked of rotting fur, and the cottage's clocks ticked backward. They begged John to burn the paw, but he scoffed, emboldened by the brandy's arrival. Desperate to save their home, he wished for 200 pounds. The paw quaked, a guttural voice hissing, "You've bound me." The cottage shuddered, candles snuffed out, and shadows coiled into a hunched figure with glowing eyeless sockets, its claws scraping the floorboards, leaving charred trails. The next day, a solemn man knocked on the door, bringing grim news. Offering 200 pounds, Herbert had passed in a horrific accident at work, mangled in a factory machine, his screams swallowed by grinding gears. Mary's wails filled the cottage, the walls oozing tar-like sludge that smelled of death. Her grief turned feral. "Wish him back," she screamed, clawing at John. Against his better judgment, he wished again, the paw pulsing like a dying heart. That night, heavy knocks shook the door, slow and wet, each thud wrong, like footsteps through mud. Mary rushed to open it, but John saw a shadow, too tall, its limbs jerking, its face a twisted mockery of Herbert's, eyes glowing red. "It's not him," he whispered, as the thing scraped the wood, leaving gouges that bled black sap. The beams groaned, mirrors cracking with rune-like patterns. John seized the paw, throwing it in the fire. The knocking stopped, the door creaking open to reveal nothing but the wind. Alas, though, it was too late. The paw's curse had claimed its last victim as Mary's heart gave out, falling at John's feet. Shortly after the loss of his wife and son, John left the cottage and vanished, never to be seen or heard from again. Some say the paw still waits, luring the greedy to their downfall. That's the dreadful tale of the monkey's paw, rooted in British and American folklore, inspired by W. Jacobs' 1902 tale. Born in 19th century Gothic legends, it spread through parlors and campfires, warning against tampering with fate, chilling listeners from Yorkshire to New England slums, each wish a trap for the unwary. In African folklore, a parallel tale terrifies. The wishing bone tells of Kofi, a farmer in a drought-stricken Ghanaian village where dust swirled around withered crops. By a cracked riverbed, he found a polished bone, gleaming unnaturally, its surface etched with sigils that writhed like living veins. Bringing it back to the village, a wise old woman, her eyes smoldering like embers, warned, "It grants wishes, but it's a trickster spirit's trap, bound by an ancient priest's curse to devour hope." Kofi, desperate and curious, ignored her, clutching the bone under a starless sky. The air reeked of ash and decay, a whisper hissing his name like a serpent's call. He wished for wealth, and gold coins filled his hut, but the air grew heavy, the ground trembling. By dawn his crops blackened, their roots twisting into eyeless faces that seemed to watch him. Shadows danced, forming a gaunt figure with claw-like hands, its laughter echoing from the river. Kofi wished for thriving fields, and they bloomed, but his wife, Amma, fell ill, her skin marked with sigil-like scars, her breath fading as she whispered Kofi's name in terror. The village's wells dried, oozing black sludge that smelled of death. In panic, Kofi wished for her health, but the bone cracked, flames erupting from the earth, consuming his hut. Shadows swirled in the dark, the invisible claws scraping the burning walls, leaving singed sigils that pulsed even hotter and brighter than the flames. Kofi escaped the fire, but was unable to save his sick wife. Kofi rushed to the village elder, who revealed the spirit was a vengeful deity, angered by a priest's greed, its bone luring victims to feed its wrath. Kofi tried casting the bone into the river, but it resurfaced, its whispers now inside his dreams, the phantom claws clawing at his flesh. People began to flee the village and the curse that Kofi's greed had brought down on their village. Kofi was now alone, his cries lost in the bone's hiss. The riverbed was shunned, but some say the bone still gleams, luring the desperate in with the promise of a wish. Why do these tales endure? It's the seductive pull of getting what we want and the dread of its true cost. Curiosity and greed drive us to wish, but the price can destroy families, villages, lives. From English cottages to African rivers, these stories echo a truth. Some gifts are traps in disguise. The monkey's paw, the wishing bone, they warn us to beware what we seek in the dark. Next time you find a strange trinket, pause before you wish, lest you wake something you can't unmake. That's all for tonight's Campfire Tales. If this story twisted your heart, share it in the comments, or tell us a creepy tale from your hometown. Next time, we'll unravel The Lady in the Oven, a grim legend that'll make you check your kitchen twice. Until then, keep the fire burning, and don't touch any cursed paws.